Good evening, and welcome to the 2016 Commencement Worship. I am extremely happy and excited to welcome our graduates, friends, family members, and good wishes on behalf of the Vanderbilt Divinity School Worship Committee. I invite you to enter into this moment rejoicing, full of thanksgiving for the lives of our students, supportive family members and friends, faculty and staff of Vanderbilt Divinity School. As the words of our processional hymn proclaim, let our rejoicing rise, high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Welcome to one and all, and may this occasion be a joyous moment and an unforgettable moment and memory for each of us. May something said on this evening encourage you and give you reason to celebrate life.
Today, we gather with our communities, friends, and chosen families to celebrate and give thanks for the culmination of one stage of our journey. Let us celebrate endings and beginnings. We give thanks for the gift of relationships, knowledge, and skills that will help us live into our vocation. Let us give thanks for new possibilities and the opportunities that lie ahead. We give thanks for the many times and ways in which we are assured of our vocation and for the many questions we had along the way. Let us never stop asking questions. Let us always seek reassurance as we work for and hear the call of justice.
Let us praise the great Spirit of life, who formed our human hearts,
and who will lead us in the way everlasting. With those whom we have joined together, let us worship. Amen.
Will you pray with me? O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. God, we are so grateful that you have helped us arrive to this day with a reasonable portion of sanity and peace. Our hearts have been dipped in ecstasy and joy. Our souls are saturated in serendipity. Papers have been written, final projects have been turned in, Starbucks have been consumed, long nights in the library have passed, espresso has been our constant companion, and now here we sit on the eve of graduation day. Thank you, God, for pushing us and strengthening us and loving us and nurturing us and blessing us and covering us and guiding us and keeping us to see this day. Make us forever mindful that these robes, these degrees, and these accomplishments are not just to enhance our curricula vitae and our resumes, but you, O God, have called us to make a difference in every life we encounter. Thank you for family. Thank you for friends. Thank you for enemies who have helped us all the way. Thank you for all of it, all that it has taken to mold us into the people we are today. Thank you for it all, the work, the struggles, the lonely moments, the tears, the fears, and the journey. For we realize today, rain creates flowers, weights build muscles, storms paint rainbows, and mistakes supply wisdom. We realize today, no cross, no crown, no tears, no testimony, no adversity, no maturity, no papers, no grades, no graduation, no Thursday evening, no Friday morning. And we thank you that we have gone through and now we're ready to come out. And let all who are filled with dreams and visions and purpose and Pentecostal fire say amen.
Let us stand.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever will be. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands that provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in the courses above, join with all nature in manifold witness to thy great faithfulness, mercy, and love. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands have provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. Pardon for sin and a peace that endureth, thine own dear presence to cheer and to guide, strength for today and bright hope for tomorrow, blessings all mine with 10,000 beside. Great is thy faithfulness, great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, new mercies I see. All I have needed, thy hands that provided. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me.
Please be seated for a word from the Lord. A reading from Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, O Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light around me become night, even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you. The word of the Lord.
Good evening. So when I first applied to Vanderbilt Divinity School, one of the main things in my mind was that much of my work and my passion had been guided by my heart and my gut. And so I said I wanted to come to Divinity School to give some intellect, some brain to the stomach and the heart. And I came and I discovered in classes, in study sessions with friends, that yes, indeed, the brain is very important. But in fact, the heart and the gut are central even to this intellectual pursuit. Whether it was reading a book in a class with Professor Miller McLemore and finding in the story of Bishop Gray something of my own story, recognizing the joy that he experienced in the Episcopal liturgy as being part of my story, feeling my heart jump with joy. Or it was reading a book in Dr. Shepard's womanist class and finding the story there so similar to my own that I found my heart breaking down and tears flowing. Whether it was sitting in an ethics class and my brain really working hard to try and make sense at some level of this wisdom that we were having imparted. But my heart was moved to have a professor who talked about teaching us and taught us, as Victor Anderson said, as inviting us to come and play in his sandbox. All these experiences taught me that the brain cannot function without the heart and the gut. Whether it was sitting with that field ed whisperer, Vicky, and being prepared to be asked really deep intellectual questions about what I wanted out of field ed, and instead having her simply say to me, "So what's the big question in your mind?" And through that, finding me a church home at All Saints in Smyrna. Whether it was taking a writing class when I know I hate writing, but deciding to challenge that brain once more and take a writing class with Dean Judge and find that the brain was indeed challenged, but the heart and the gut were also asked to reach deep into my stories, into my pain, into my joy. So I leave this place aware that indeed my brain can still function after all these years, but more importantly, knowing that it can't function without my heart and my gut. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Mother, mother, there's too many of you crying. Brother, brother, far too many of you dying. We've got to find a way, bring some love in here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. We've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket lines, sister, and picket signs, sister. Don't punish me, sister, with brutality, sister. Talk to me, sister, so you can see. Oh, what's going on?
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 Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong simply because our hair is long. We've got to find a way, bring some of that understanding here today. Picket signs, brother, and picket lines, brother. Don't punish me, brother, with brutality, brother. Talk to me, brother, so we can see. Anderson, what's going on?
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 What's going on? Picket signs,
Sister,
and picket lines,
sister.
don't punish me,
Sister,
with brutality.
sister.
Just talk to me.
Sister,
Just talk to me.
sister.
Just talk to me
sister.
and tell me what's going on.
What's going on?
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 It's picket lines
sister
and picket signs.
sister.
Don't punish me
sister
with brutality.
sister.
Just talk to me
sister.
so we can see what's going on. Thank you.
Good evening. As many of you gathered here know, in addition to teaching theology, I also direct the Carpenter program in religion, gender, and sexuality. A few weeks ago, many of us gathered here tonight came together to celebrate that program's 20th anniversary. In the company of its inaugural director, Professor Amy Jill Levine, and around 200 VDS alums, current and prospective students. We toasted the program's past, we honored its present, and we began to imagine its future by learning from and with each other once again. That was a milestone, to be sure, in the life of the program and of VDS, as tomorrow will be for all of you. To riff off our theme for the Carpenter 20th, tomorrow we will celebrate your achievements and we'll honor the ways your horizons have been expanded, I trust, in your time at VDS. And we will anticipate the important work that you are going out to do in the world. In a time and place where we have to claim that Black Lives Matter, where racist, anti-immigrant, and anti-Muslim bombast passes as proto-presidential, where legislation opposes the rights of LGBTQI people in the name of religious freedom, there is clearly so much work yet to do. And yet we persist in believing, as Dr. King famously said, that somehow, and the somehow is his, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. As the Carpenter 20th reminds us, and today reminds us, VDS attracts, nurtures, we hope, and graduates remarkably creative, committed, and resilient people. We, the faculty and staff, can't claim credit for all of that, not even close. You bring much of that with you, and more to the point, you bring it out in each other. On the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, President Obama observed about that famous arc that it, quote, may bend toward justice, but it doesn't bend on its own, unquote. It needs us. We need it, and we need each other. If I've learned anything through my work with the Carpenter program over these past several years, and certainly this year, it's that. So in the months and years to come, let's pledge to stay connected, to continue to celebrate our achievements, to expand our horizons, and to connect our work. I'm confident that if we do that, that long arc will surely shorten at least a bit, and its bend become a bit more visible to us and to those who come after us.
Evening. So I've thought a lot about this, what my time at Vanderbilt has meant to me, and I've felt that the only way I can explain it is to compare it to my undergraduate experience. And I know some of you are like, Sarah, stop talking about Notre Dame, you're so annoying. But you all know how formative that was for me in my life, just like this experience was, and the only way to name it appropriately is to make me compare them. And by doing that, I just want to start with a couple lines and then talk about briefly how important the women here at Vanderbilt have been to me. So Notre Dame saved my life, but Vanderbilt showed me how to live my life. Notre Dame gave me the gift of my body as an athlete and the mind of a young theologian. But Vanderbilt gave me the gift of my spirit set free to be a completely embodied being doing theology. Notre Dame taught me how to do close readings of texts, but Vanderbilt taught me how to find my voice. Notre Dame gave me alternative family units and friends for a lifetime. Vanderbilt introduced me to my wife. Notre Dame helped me during times of trauma. Vanderbilt helped me heal and reconcile. Notre Dame taught me how to multitask. Vandy taught me how to flourish. – Notre Dame showed me I was very different. But Vanderbilt taught me that my difference is beautiful and a gift from God. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, for me, when I remember my first trip to Notre Dame, seeing Mother Mary on the dome, I was so confused, right? As a little kid from Oklahoma, being a Protestant at the time, I thought it was very strange, and I knew no image, though, of God as a woman or in the female form, and Mary kind of gave me a little taste of what that might look like. And my time at Notre Dame, I thought about that a lot, what it would be like to call God Mother. And Vandy made that really come to life with me, and learning what Sophia incarnate as Jesus was, not just in Jesus, but also embodied in my professors and my classmates, like Stacey Floyd Thomas, Trudy Stringer Hawkins, Laurel Schneider, Ellen Armour, Emily Towns, Melissa Snar, Amy Jill Levine, and okay, maybe Victor Anderson. And in my priests, Lissa Smith, Becca Stevens, Ketty Cox, Lisa Hunt, and my peers, Shakia, Chantel, Laura, Claire, Brittany, Kelsey, Megan, Caroline, Sherry, Chanhi, Priska Alba, Teresa, Rhonda. Thank you so much for imaging the divine, because it gave me the permission to see the divine imaged in me.
A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. But I say to you that listen, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who abuse you. If anyone strikes you on the cheek, offer the other also. And from anyone who takes away your coat, do not withhold even your shirt. Give to everyone who begs from you. And if anyone takes away your goods, do not ask for them again. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you hope to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love your enemies, do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return. Your reward will be great, and you will be children of the Most High. For God is kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. The word of the Lord.
Be confident of this, that she who began a good work in you will carry it to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. We are gathered here tonight to commemorate the graduates of several degree programs. And in lieu of this celebration, I want to share briefly from my story. In many ways, my story is not uncommon from your own. I had a pretty traditional educational route. Went to public educational system in Midland, Texas. From there, I moved to Austin, Texas, where I attended the University of Texas at Austin. After that, not yet satisfied, I attended Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, where I attained my Master's of Divinity. And from there, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, where I studied here in the Ethics and Society program under Dr. Victor Anderson, and where I now attain my doctoral degree. On paper, things look pretty good. But the truth of the matter is that the paper doesn't tell the whole story. You see, the paper doesn't tell the part of the story where I grew up in a single mother household, a mother of 10 children with no college education, who did everything she could to provide for her children. The paper doesn't tell the story of how I lived in so many places it became difficult to maintain an identity at a local school. The paper doesn't tell the story of the abject poverty and all of the challenges associated therewith. The truth be told, the more I thought about this testimony moment, it became a bit difficult to talk about the goodness of God. You see, there are not only the stories that are not on paper in my own life, but there are the social stories that are not on paper. Stories about mass incarceration or our dilapidated educational systems. Stories about racist and patriarchal welfare policy aimed and targeted at the vitiation of Black and Latina women's lives. So many untold stories that one might be inclined to sit back and reflect, as William R. Jones did, is God a white racist? And then in the program, given all the challenges, I thought that I might get something of a brother man hookup in the program, but that didn't happen. And so even the program itself has so many challenges that are not on paper. Challenges of coursework, of qualifying examinations, and dissertation don't tell the whole story. And at the end of the day, I felt like misshapen clay or unrefined metal. But then I had to sit back and think a little bit longer. Because in spite of all those things, I had to first of all acknowledge that I'm still here. In spite of the challenges of growing up in a single mother household, I'm still here. In spite of the challenges of growing up in a situation of abject poverty, I'm still here. In spite of the social challenges of education and mass incarceration, I'm still here. And so the first thing that I want to say to you tonight is that I am a survivor. I am a survivor in spite of the challenges that have been placed before me. But then I thought a bit more, because I thought about the fact that although I am a survivor, that I did not survive alone. That my survival was not only dependent on my own efforts, but on the efforts of so many that have come before me and that stand alongside me. Yes, I am a survivor, not only because of my own efforts, but because of the efforts of my mother, who worked tirelessly day and night. I am a survivor because of the efforts of my brothers and my sisters, my teachers, my friends, and here at Vanderbilt University, my dissertation committee and the administrative staff. You see, the truth of the matter is that anytime someone tells a testimony, they can't tell the testimony without telling of others as well. The truth of the matter is then that even as I stand here before you claiming to be a survivor, that I am only a survivor in light of your recognition, so that I am not only a survivor, but that you are survivors along with me. That is the word that I came to give you today, is that although you may face challenges today, that although you may be uncertain about your future as you sit here on tonight, that God is faithful to begin the work that God started. God is faithful to finish God's work in spite of the challenges you may face at home. God is faithful to finish the work that God has started in spite of the challenges you may face at school. God is faithful to finish God's work in spite of the challenges you may face within your own soul. At the end of the day, in spite of all the challenges, be encouraged with this word, that God, who began the good work in you, is faithful to complete it.
What do you do when you've done all you can and it seems like it's never enough? And what do you say when your friends turn away and you're all alone? Tell me, what do you give when you've given your all and seems like you can't make it through? Well, you just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand, watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand. Tell me, how do you handle the guilt of your past? Tell me, how do you deal with the shame? And how can you smile while your heart has been broken and filled with pain, so much pain. Tell me, what do you give when you've given your all and seems like you can't make it through? Well, you just stand when there's nothing left to do. You just stand, watch the Lord see you through. Yes, after you've done all you can, you just stand and be sure. Be not entangled with the bondage again. You just stand and endure. God has a purpose. Yes, God has a plan. Tell me, what do you do when you've done all you can and it seems like you can't make it through? You just stand. You just stand. Stand. And don't you dare give up through the storm. Stand through the rain, through the hurt. Stand through the pain. You just hold on. Be strong. God will step in, and it won't be long after you've done all you can. After you've done all you can.
After you've done all you can.
After you've done all you can.
After you've done all you can.
After you've done all you
After
can.
you've done all you can.
After you've gone through the hurt.
After you've done all you can.
After you've gone through the pain.
You've done all you can.
After you've done all you can, you just stand. Oh, you just stand.
After you've done all you can. Y'all could sing that one again. And that would be okay with me. Perhaps like me, you began your academic year thinking 9 months. That's a long time. And then you blink a time or two, and here we are this late afternoon. Each year is a full year. It begins by looking ahead some, and then looking around a good bit, and then stepping into classes and responsibilities and relationships and more. Each year also begins with some loneliness. Recognizing that there are some things that you just have to do by yourself. Realizing there's a bunch of inner work to do that you still have on your plate. Opening up to yourself to look at yourself. And realizing that there are good bits and not so good bits that make each of us all too human. And if we and the world are lucky, we are also humane. Yes, you just have to stand. So, we began this year with all these things and more a swirling within us and within the school. We say we value the diversity in our midst, but we are still trying to figure out how to live it and how to live into it. And I have to admit that it's frustrating at times because it's easy to forget that each one of us is on a journey and at different points on those journeys. No one of us is perfectly right. All of us are imperfectly mortal. So much left to do, so much left to see, so much to uncover about ourselves, so much, much more. And yet, oh yet, we're called to stand. And that has been this year. Discovering the so much, much more. Standing on the promises, standing on the hope, standing in adversity, standing in joy, standing because we know we must, standing because the world does not need another hopeless person shouting catcalls and epithets into creation. And we've come off a rough 2 to 3 years in this country, and it doesn't really seem like it's going to let up. We've tried to remember this year and each year that what's going on beyond the walls of our school also affects and shapes how we are with each other inside of it. What's going on? A new beginning you began 2, 3, 4, or more years ago is coming to an end tomorrow. What's going on? You've been given a little bit of knowledge, and we now challenge you to turn it into wisdom. What's going on? Any excuse you were using to say that school isn't the real world are over, and you simply have to get on with living. What's going on? You've built a foundation for the future that you and I are now more responsible for than we were yesterday. What's going on? All of you, all of who you are, all of what you hope to be, must be poured into a world, into a community, into relationships that need you. Your best you, not a perfect you, but your best you. The you that steps into creation, that is sometimes on the rim bones of nothingness, as someone fiercely dedicated to changing injustice into love. Yes, you must stand remembering that justice is what love looks like in public. And the public we are looking for does not go into any house, any church, any synagogue, any mosque, any place, and gun down people in an attempt to start a race war. The public we are looking for lives into the differences between enforce and collect versus protect and serve. The public we are looking for remembers that we come from a tradition of welcoming the stranger at the gate and treating immigration and refugees as political footballs. It's demonic Watusi. Demonic Watusi of faithlessness. The public we are looking for celebrates love in whatever and whoever the packaging it comes. We live whosoever. The public we are looking for refuses to bend down into hate and protectionism in the face of terrorism and mass shootings. The public we are looking for insists that we build a country that is not built on fear-mongering and a haute couture of isms and hatreds masquerading as hope and faith and love. We are not being called to create a Mardi Gras world that sets aside the harsh realities of living for a 2-week carnival of big fun that lures us into thinking that if we ignore the rough stuff of living, it will go away on its own. Stand, my brothers and sisters. Yes, too many fathers and mothers are crying. Too many folks are dying. We are looking for ways of loving that mean more than ooh baby, ooh baby. We are looking for our plowshares. We live in what's going on. We live in a what's going on world. And a key answer to this question is you. See you tomorrow.
Our next hymn is For Everyone Born. It's a beautiful song with beautiful notes. However, the notes in your bulletin are the wrong ones. So we're going to do it old school, early church way, and we're going to sing it a cappella. I will sing the first verse through, and then if you would sing that verse with me again, and then we'll sing verse 4 and verse 5. So here's how the first verse goes. For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead, and God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. Can you please stand? Did you get that? All right, sing with me. For everyone born, a place at the table. For everyone born, clean water and bread. A shelter, a space, a safe place for growing. For everyone born, a star overhead, and God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. Verse 4. For just and unjust, a place at the table. Abuser abused with need to forgive. In anger and hurt, a mindset of mercy. For just and unjust, a new way to live. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. Verse 5. For everyone born, a place at the table, to live without fear and simply to be, to work and speak out, to witness and worship. For everyone born, the right to be free. And God will delight when we are creators of justice and joy, compassion and peace. Yes, God will delight when we are creators of justice, justice and joy. Amen.
We've gathered here today to celebrate, graduates, what you've done in this time and this place, Vanderbilt Divinity School. This celebration, though, I know carries with it the uncertainty of change as this time and this place draw to an end for you. For this reason, I'd like to conclude our worship service with the spiritual wisdom of a Syriac Christian theologian known as Sedona, or the martyr. Sedona lived in Iraq in the 7th century. This mystic and ascetic teacher wrote extensively on the path of the heart's ascent towards God. In that context, he wrote the following advice to someone leaving a monastery and needing counsel about uncertainty and transition of time and place. I hope that Sedona's reflection on the nature of times and places will encourage all of you, regardless of your own experience here at VDS, whether this has been a time of intense community or of painful loneliness for you. Wherever your pilgrimage may lead next, I hope that you will do so with love for God and neighbor filling your souls. These are the words that Sedona has left us. Above all, it is this which I wish for you to know. Neither times nor places are an obstacle to the spiritual practice of a soul which has become wise, strong, perfected, and practiced in the fear of God. Because the soul is not changed by times or places, but it is the soul itself which changes the times and the places. Indeed, just as we see in nature that the stronger force overcomes the weaker force, so too, the soul that loves God and is practiced in the wisdom from above receives a spiritual intensity from above. It is able to transform others without losing its saltiness. It is able to illuminate the darkness without its own light being extinguished. If you are a friend of God, then be also a friend of humanity. If you attain love of neighbor and peace, then you truly possess the kingdom of heaven. And it will cause to be born in your heart the joy which is brought by the Spirit. Go in peace.
It is my privilege to send us forth. Please rise. As you graduate, celebrate, and anticipate, go with wisdom and remain curious. Go with courage and explore new paths. Go with curiosity and discover the mystery of faith. Go with gratitude and gift others. Go with goodness and show mercy. Go with justice and walk with prophets. Go with memory and know that you are loved in this community. Go with hope and resist despair. Go with laughter and play with life. And as you leave, know that God bless you and keep you. God smile on you and gift you. God look you full in the face and make you prosper. And the people of God said, Amen.
Go in peace.